If you guys would see each other, like, are you guys cool or no?
I mean, I would probably like hit him with a head nod. That's about it. Yeah, we've seen each other in public spaces, but I think that we're both aware of the nature of his new situation, that there's just no room really for us to communicate or acknowledge each other publicly without it being spun into something crazy. So I would be lying if I said that that level of hate and just like online chaos doesn't impact me. It does, even to this day.
Yeah.
You know what's crazier than a rookie dominating the WNBA? A pop star's fan base taking over the league. That's exactly what's happening with Caitlin Clark and the Swifties. But how did Taylor Swift fans end up in women's basketball? Imagine this. Caitlin Clark, the hotshot rookie, is suddenly the talk of the town. Not just among basketball fans, but Taylor Swift's massive army of supporters. It's like the Swifties decided to crash a WNBA party, and they're all cheering for Clark. This isn't just some random hype. It could change everything for the league. Think about it. More viewers, more buzz, more everything. The WNBA could explode in popularity overnight. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the rising star, the Swifties, her unexpected cheerleaders, and Angel Reese. She's the one who accidentally started this whole crazy situation. Let's talk about how this all went down and why it's such a big deal for women's basketball. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Here's where things get wild. One player's words about a pop star accidentally created the WNBA's newest and most unexpected fan base.
People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit. These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they try. What is going on here? And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. But these ladies, who I love and respect their game, they couldn't have this thing up.
The Swifties aren't just watching games now, they're changing the whole game. How did Angel Reese's comment about Taylor Swift lead to this massive shift in WNBA fandom? And what does it mean for Caitlin Clark's future in the league? It all started with a simple comment from Angel Reese about Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift. Suddenly, the Swifties were all over the WNBA, but not in support of Reese. Instead, they rallied behind Caitlin Clark, turning her into an overnight sensation on social media. You've got to wonder, what exactly did Reese say to spark this firestorm? Well, her words hit a nerve with Swift's massive fan base. The Swifties, known for their intense loyalty, didn't take kindly to Reese's comment. Instead of attacking Reese, they decided to show their support for Clark. This isn't your average fan reaction. The Swifties have a track record of mobilizing quickly and effectively. Remember when K-pop fans shook up the NBA? This is like that, but on steroids. The Swifties have the power to turn Clark into one of the biggest names in women's basketball overnight. One fan put it perfectly. The Swifties have now joined up with the Caitlin Clark fans. If you thought the actual fans of Caitlin Clark were bad, oh, the Swifties are worse. That's not an exaggeration. We're talking about a fan base that can make or break careers with a single tweet. Think about it. Clark was already a rising star, but now she's got an army of supporters who might not have even watched a WNBA game before. This could be a game changer for her career and for the league as a whole. The Swifties aren't just tweeting about Clark. They're creating a whole movement. They're sharing highlights, making memes, and turning every game into a must-watch event. It's like they've decided Clark is the Taylor Swift of basketball, and they're determined to make her a superstar. This isn't just about one player or one fan base. It's about the power of social media to reshape the sports landscape. The Swifties have shown they can influence everything from music charts to movie box offices. Now, they're setting their sights on women's basketball. Hold up, the Swifties aren't just watching the game. They're changing it. Suddenly, Caitlin Clark's every move is trending, and the WNBA is center stage. But is this sudden spotlight a slam dunk for Clark, or could it backfire? You won't believe how fast the Swifties have taken over. They're all over social media, pushing Caitlin Clark to the top of everyone's feed. It's like they decided Clark is the new Taylor Swift of basketball, and they're not taking no for an answer. Imagine opening Twitter and seeing nothing but Caitlin Clark highlights. That's what's happening right now. The Swifties are sharing every basket, every assist every move Clark makes on the court. They're turning her into a social media sensation overnight. But here's the thing. This isn't just about likes and retweets. This Swiftie takeover could change Clark's whole career. Think about it. More eyes on Clark means more brands wanting to work with her. Sponsors love a player with a big following, and the Swifties are delivering that on a silver platter. And it's not just Clark who's feeling the love. The entire WNBA is getting a boost. You've got people who've never watched a women's basketball game in their life tuning in just to see what all the fuss is about. That's huge for the league. One fan said it best. Once the Swifties find somewhere to settle, they multiply and they take over. There's nothing anyone can do. That's the power we're dealing with here. When the Swifties decide to support something, they go all in. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Angel Reese. Remember, she's the one who accidentally started this whole thing. Now she's got an army of Swifties rallying behind her rival. That's gotta be a weird feeling, right? You know what's crazy? This could turn into a whole new kind of rivalry. It's not just about what happens on the court anymore. Now we've got Reese versus Clark versus the Swifties. It's like a basketball soap opera, and fans are eating it up. The big question is, how long will this last? Are the Swifties here to stay, or is this just a flash in the pan? Either way, it's shaking up the WNBA in a way we've never seen before. You know what's wild? The Swifties aren't just shaking things up. They're rewriting the whole playbook for women's basketball. We're talking about a fan invasion that could change everything. Imagine a WNBA where your Twitter followers matter as much as your free throw percentage. Crazy, right? This isn't just about Caitlin Clark anymore. The Swifties have turned the WNBA into a whole new battleground. We've got traditional basketball rivalries on one side and social media wars on the other. It's like the game's being played in two different arenas at the same time. Think about it. Players like Clark and Reese aren't just competing on the court now. They're up against each other in likes, shares, and retweets. That's a whole new kind of pressure. How do you focus on your jump shot when you're worried about your Instagram engagement? And it's not just the players feeling the heat. The entire WNBA is trying to figure out how to handle this Swiftie invasion. Do they lean into it? Try to keep things business as usual? It's like they're playing chess while the Swifties are playing Candy Crush. But here's where it gets really interesting. This could be huge for the league's growth. More eyes on the game mean more tickets sold, more merch flying off the shelves, maybe even better TV deals. The Swifties could be the boost the WNBA's been waiting for. On the flip side, what happens if the Swifties lose interest? That's the thing about fan armies. They can be pretty fickle. One day they're all about Caitlin Clark. The next day they might move on to the next big thing. The WNBA's got to figure out how to turn these new fans into long-term supporters. And let's not forget about the other players. How are they feeling about all this attention on Clark? Some might see it as a chance to up their own social media game. Others might resent the extra spotlight. It's like high school all over again, but with million-dollar contracts on the line. This whole situation is forcing the WNBA to think bigger. It's not just about what happens during the 40 minutes of game time anymore. Now it's about creating a 24/7 experience for fans. Social media takeovers, behind-the-scenes content, player Q&As. The league's got to step up its game to keep the Swifties engaged. But you know what's really exciting? This could be the start of something huge for women's sports in general. If the Swifties can make the WNBA cool, who's to say other fan armies won't follow suit? Maybe we'll see the Bayhive taking over women's soccer next, or the Barbs getting into women's MMA. You know what's wild? The Swifties aren't just changing the game. They're rewriting the whole playbook for women's basketball. This isn't your average fan support. It's a full-on takeover that could transform how people engage with the WNBA. Think about it. Caitlin Clark's got an army of fans who might have never watched a game before. That's huge for the league. But it's not just about Clark. This could be the start of something big for all women's sports. Here's the real question. What are you going to do about it? Are you just going to watch from the sidelines? Or are you going to get in on the action? The WNBA's changing, and you've got a chance to be part of it. So, is this the new recipe for success in women's athletics? Pop culture meets sports, and boom, everyone's watching. It's crazy, but it just might work.